Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 3. I hope you like this video and hit that subscribe button. One of the things I've talked a lot about over the last few years, even on the Baseball Hut 2, is Michael K, or as we like to call him, Michael Not Okay. He's just not okay. And one thing, his reputation precedes him. He's very thin-skinned, he's very sensitive, he's a very sensitive guy. And very sensitive guys, when they're in their 60s, you just want to make fun of them. For a guy like me, this is like giving red meat to a lion, or red meat to a crocodile. It's like a feeding frenzy. And he continues to give us great content, really great content. And if you like this stuff, hit the subscribe button. Get close to 500 subscribers. Headline from Awful Announcing. Michael K is done with Peter Rosenberg. You're dead to me. Now, one of the things we've talked about here, especially in the baseball too, is how the people that he worked with, Don LaGreca and Peter Rosenberg, and they all hated him because he would just sort of belittle them on the air and publicly embarrass them a lot of times. And this now, they're not a team anymore. They're not a trio anymore. They sort of gone their separate ways, at least with Not Okay and the other two guys. But this is very funny. Quote, he's mad at Peter because Peter doesn't think he's the best at something. That's ridiculous. This is so catty, folks. But it's funny as hell. More than a year after breaking up with Peter Rosenberg on radio, Michael K seems to be done with his former ESPN New York co-host altogether. So they've broken up in real life. Rosenberg has managed to do something that thousands, maybe even millions of people have been able to do. He got on Michael K's bad side. Last week, K complained that he no longer has a relationship with Rosenberg since leaving ESPN New York's afternoon show. K opted for a shorter solo show on ESPN New York last year and was succeeded by Alan Hahn, who joined Rosenberg and Don LaGreca in the afternoon drive. Now, Don LaGreca got a contract extension, so ESPN's pretty happy with the show. Despite being the one who left the show, Kay blamed Rosenberg for not keeping up with their off-air relationship. So gay. I mean, so catty. And this week, Kay decided to break the ice with a text message to Rosenberg that read, "You're dead to me." According to Rosenberg, it was a compliment he gave to Joe Testori on the Cheap Heat Wrestling podcast that seemed to anger Kay. During the show, Rosenberg aptly credited Testori for being able to make the seamless transition and going from successful sports announcer to wrestling announcer. All good there. Kay knows he's not a wrestling announcer, but then Rosenberg had the gall to take his compliment one step further. I don't think what he said was that bad. He is the best point guard that I've maybe ever worked with, Rosenberg said of Testori. He empowers me and Big E so much. Like, man, Big E was a former wrestler, part of the New Day. I think. That's who he's talking about. The guy's constantly flawless. Kay heard Rosenberg claim Testori was the best point guard he ever worked with, and he took it personally. LaGreca, however, was quick to defend Rosenberg, saying what everyone was thinking. No one has ever listened to Kay on the radio and thought of him as a point guard. When Kay hosts a radio show that bears his name, he looks to shoot first, second, and third. Then he might think about making a pass. I mean, pretty much. I mean, he's the center of the universe. It's called the Michael K Show. There's no, handing it off to anybody. Quote, he's mad at Peter because Peter doesn't think he's the best at something. He didn't disrespect LaGreca. He didn't disrespect him. LaGreca said of Kay's gripe at Rosenberg. You didn't make him the best. That's ridiculous. But after Kay went on the afternoon show last week and complained about his deteriorated relationship with Rosenberg, he was eagerly waiting for an opportunity to fuel the feud. And Rosenberg indirectly claiming Testori is a better point guard than Kay was his way in. I mean, it's so funny. And he called up. We listened to this. It's funny. This is something that they said the other day. Michael is the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral, Rosenberg said. Everything has to be about Michael. At least Kay hasn't always been being willing excuse me. At least Kay is always being willing to admit he's sensitive and spiteful. But that honesty probably doesn't make it any easier for Rosenberg to maintain a friendship or working relationship with Kay. Well, they're not working together anymore, so what the hell's the problem? You know, I mean, Michael Kay is so thin-skinned that when people were talking, here's the funniest thing about Michael Kay. When he had his afternoon show on ESPN radio, they had a commercial for SNY and how Gary, Keith, and Ron was the best baseball broadcast in town. And he took such offense to it. He got so mad. And he was upset. And he carried on the radio screaming how he loved David Cohn and Paul O'Neill. He was just sort of waxing poetic and going on and on and on how great they were and this and that. And the funny thing is that this got back to Gary, Keith, and Ron, and they made fun of him. They made fun of him on their own broadcast. So, every little thing bothers not okay. This is why he's not okay, folks. He's not okay because he can't handle any criticism. We know that. Things don't roll off his back. Any little slight, he's like, I'm old school. I'm on from the streets. What streets are you talking about? What's he talking about when he says that? And he said that a couple months ago. And his videos, I tell you, his videos do so well. Especially when he's having these meltdowns and we know that last year he went after Juan Soto, saying that he didn't really want to be with the Mets, but the Mets gave more money, and that kind of blew up, and he wasn't happy, and he was regretting making the decision. We know that he was getting messages from the Yankees front office, from Yankees ownership, from Randy Levine, to send that message out. As you know, he's Yankees broadcaster for the Yes Network. Can't forget about that. We also know that last year, I believe, or maybe it was the year before, he had a streak of not missing opening day. And because I guess the game was on Apple, he couldn't broadcast the game. And he was all pissed off. He was all mad that he couldn't do it. And he was all belly aching about the fact that he wasn't going to be. So he's so like, everything bothers not okay. That's why I say he's not okay. Michael, not okay. It's as simple. Some of these people, they nickname themselves. I mean, my goodness. Some nicknames, the host falls into. But this was a nickname that is perfect for him. Michael, not okay. I mean, it's about as simple as spot on of a nickname as you could possibly get. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. What do you think about? I mean, it's very catty, really. This back and forth between Rosenberg. Oh, you haven't called me in a year, and when you're dead to me. Okay, whatever. A bunch of old bats, going at it, complaining. Well, thank you for watching this video. Of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you go, and I'll see you later.